Hello, I'm Philip Burton, and in this video we'll be starting our look at text extraction and search functions in Excel. So we're going to start off with the left, mid, right and len functions. So left, mid, right, they do exactly what they say. You can get the left of a string, the right of a string, or any point in the middle. So let's have a look at these in action. If I want to say the first three characters, then I can do that with the left. So equals, you always start a formula with equals. So that tells the computer that you're not just typing in some random text like first three characters, you're actually typing in an equation that it needs to be calculated. So we're typing the word left, and then what text are you going to be looking at? Well, let's have a look at this text to start with. So Ken J. Sanchez. Now this is called a string literal. So in other words, it's just a piece of text that is to be treated as text and nothing more. So I want the first three characters. Now you can see underneath syntax. Left, that's your function. Text, so that's the text we're putting in. And then a comma if you're using, like for instance, France, locale or German, then you might find that there's a semicolon instead of a comma. So comma, I'll just be using commas in this, and then the number of characters. Number of characters is optional, and you can tell that from the hard brackets. However, if you don't put it in, then it will just get you one character. So I'm going to say 3 characters. So there's my first 3 characters. Now, I don't want to do this on a text literal. I want to refer to this particular cell, and this cell is in cell B7. So I've got B at the top and 7 on the left hand side. So we're going to change this from this text literal to B7. And so here we can see the first 3 characters. Now this gets updated whenever B7 gets updated. So if I change it from Ken to Jen and press enter, you can see that we've got the updated version. Now right does exactly the same thing, same arguments, so same text, same number of characters. And again, it just gets from the right hand side. Mid requires 3 arguments because it needs to know not just where to start, but also how many characters. It needs both of those. So mid, open bracket, and still your text comes next, and then where to start. So if I started, say, at character 7 for 3 characters, I would get San. Now, where does text number 7 appear in this string? Well, if we take this string, then it is a 7th character if you start with the first character as being number 1. So there are some languages where the first character is number 0, and so 7 would be a bit later. But in Excel, the first character is number 1. Now, the 4th function that we've got here is len. Now, len takes just the one argument, one thing in the brackets, and that is your text. So it gives the length of your string. So Terry space Lee space Duffy is 15 characters long. Now, for those of you who are working not in the West European language but other languages, then you may also wish to know that there are some equivalents which use a binary version, and these would be languages like Japanese, Chinese and Korean. So with these 4 functions, what I want to do is take all of this name except the first 4 characters. So how can I do that? So let's just have a look at this again. We have got this gentleman's name, and we want all except the first 4 characters. So we have equals mid of B7. Now I don't want the first 4 characters. So where do I start? So this next one is your starting number. Well, I start, if I don't want the first 4 characters, at position number 5. So that is, omit the first 4 characters so get to number 5. And that makes sense because the very first character is character number 1. So if I skip the first character, then I start at number 2. If I skip 4 characters, I start at number 5. Now the next argument is how long. How many characters do you want? And in this case, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there is our answer, equals mid of B7, 5, 9. So let's put this in, and we can see we've got J. Sanchez. Now, what if I copied this down? Will it give me all of Terry Lee Duffy's name except for the first 4 characters? What do you think? Have a look at the formula, see what you think. The answer is no, it won't. It will start at position number 5, which is the I, and only go on for 9 characters. However, this one is a lot longer name. It's about 2 characters longer. So we could go into this one and adjust this, and then we could go into the next one and adjust it. But that's a lot of adjustment. And what I want to do when writing a formula is to have a number that will allow me to copy this downwards all the time. Now, one way we can do this is to change this final argument to a very big number, say 99 or even 999. And that will work as long as you are sure that we won't have some really long names. And in this case, I think that's probably fairly safe to be sure. So now you can see I. Lee Duffy is in its full length. Roberto Tamarello becomes Roberto Tamarello. Again, that just works. But what if we didn't want that? What if we wanted to calculate exactly what the number we need is? So the number here we need is number 9. Number here, 11. And number here, 14. So how long is this name? Well, this name is 13 characters long. This name is 15 characters long. And this name is 18 characters long. Can you see that there is a relationship between these numbers and these numbers? Specifically, this number in column F is 4 characters, 4 numbers higher than this one in E. And that makes sense because we are omitting the first 4 characters. So if we have a 13 character name and we omit 4 characters, well, we're left with 9. So how can we work out this number? We can have the length and minus the first 4 characters. So let's put this into our formula. So now we've got the middle of B7 starting at number 5 and going for the entire length of the original string less 4 characters. And if I copy this down, this works each time. Now a question that arises is, how does this 4 get calculated? Well, remember I originally put 4 plus 1 as the start number. So this 4 can also be expressed as 5 minus 1. So if we had the number 5 in, or the number 4 even, whichever one, in this cell, we can make a reference to this cell twice. So we're omitting the first 4 characters, but if we're omitting the first 3 characters, then I want to start at position number 4. So there we are. And if I was omitting, well, position number 4, and if I was omitting the first 2 characters, I'd want position number 3 to start with, and so on. But we don't need this, because we can just put in 999 as much as we want. And that's true when you're starting not at the beginning, but in the middle. So let's have a related question. What if we wanted to have all but the last 4 characters? So in this case, we would have Ken J. San. So we have equals left of B7, but how many numbers? Well, the length of this name is 13 characters. But we only need 9. So what do? We subtract the 4 characters that we don't want. So how do we get the 13? The 13 is the length of the string. So here we have the length of B7 and how long the left of B7 for the length of B7 excluding 4 characters. So you can see Terry Lee Duffy is now Terry Lee D. Roberto Tamburlo is now Roberto Tambo, and so forth. So I want to give you a question. I want to ask you how you get the entirety, but not the first 2 and not the last 2 characters. Why don't you put your answer in the comments to this video, and I'll let you know if you got it right. Meanwhile, this is part of my Excel in Microsoft Excel 1 course, and we have a look at how to do formatting and modifying text with functions in level 5, section 5. So we work through all of these particular sections and levels in a logical order to get to this point. So thank you for joining me on this video. If you liked it, could you please press that subscribe button and maybe the little bell so you'll be notified when new videos have been added. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.